On a Cobblemon SMP, you naturally want to be the very best, and today, my goal is to be the best gym leader on this server. When this SMP started, all 30 creators got to choose a type for their own gym, and it's up to the player if they want to run a gym on the server or not. All 18 types have been distributed over 30 players, and our goal is to have at least one gym per typing, and today, I will be fulfilling my gym type with Ice Pokemon. In this video, I will create a gym and team to run my Ice-type gym in Glaceville City. Welcome to DexCraft. But first of all, let me show you what I've been up to in between episodes. In the last video, I made a store in the shopping district that I was going to use to make some money, and I checked profits right here for the first time after uploading the last video. And together with the concrete chop from Ash, we made another whopping $1.02 million. This is split between the two of us, and the reasons for that I fully explained in the last video. Speaking of the shop, I wanted to restock it and checked my zinc farm, and it's safe to say that I have enough now, which is a big contrast from the last video. Oh no. What's going on? We have too much zinc? I never thought I would live to see the day that we have too much zinc. I'm actually lagging. Oh my god. We have to turn this thing off. Do I even have a way to turn it off? I don't have a clutch, do I? We might want to make a clutch. Can I make a clutch? Break this. Clutch. Off. I can't believe I built a machine and I didn't put an on and off switch on it. Sounds kind of stupid, doesn't it? Oh my god, there's so much. We have 41,000 zinc and a little extra. That's good. I also finished the very first build of Glaceville City, which is my very own house. This house doesn't have any interior yet though, so let me know in the comments what I should add to the interior, and I might just do so in one of my live streams right here on the channel. But I think it's about time for the second build of Glaceville City, the Glaceville City Gym. For this build, I want to kill two birds with one stone. In episode 1, I briefly explained my ideas for Glaceville City, and one of those things is that I want to make a big magical tree that is going to be the reason for the cold weather in Glaceville. And as a lot of gyms in the Pokemon universe share a connection with a special landmark in the city, I too wanted that tree to house the gym somehow. But first, where am I going to build this tree? As you can see, we have a lot of free space, but I need to keep future building plans in mind because I do want the tree to kinda be in the center of the city. There is a big open area right now in front of my house, but I think I don't want the tree to be that close to my house. Actually, I think right at the slope of the hill works best as a location, but the ground there is just not ideal for building a tree. It would be nicer if the ground was flat and open like the area in front of my house. And as I am not happy with the slope to begin with, as it's a bit too steep for future building plans as well, I think I only have one option. It's terraforming time. I just want the slope to lengthen up a bit and be way less steep so I have more potential building room there in the future. And I want it to extend the area where the tree is going to be so the ground there is flat. As Glaceville City will slowly unfold now, what are your thoughts on what I should build in the city? If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the progress, now might be a good time to subscribe. I do have to quickly thank DT for helping me out with the terraforming. Without him, this would have taken so long. Alright, looks good. Now let's get to building. The logs that I'm going to use are called maple logs. These logs are not the same as the other trees in the area. They are a tad darker, and I think that will make a bigger tree like this, especially with the leaves that I have in mind, look way better. The kind of tree that I'm going for is a wisteria tree, or the blue rain as some call it. I think a tree like this will make it look majestic in Glaceville, and as the lore is that the tree is magical, I think a wisteria will surely help it look that way. I am not the best at tree building, and I will say this is my first time making a tree this big, so don't expect it to look perfect. But the stem and branches should be all done now. For the leaves, I have two blocks, a lighter blue and a darker blue. I will put the lighter blue at the top, and for the rain part, I will use the darker blue. And as I was placing down the leaves, I quickly realized how this was going to be 100 times harder than the stem and branches. After a while of trying, it did not look promising at all, but luckily, I had a backup plan. This is the build world that I used to make the zinc farm for my copycat shop in the last video. And in this world, I have world edit. If you don't know what world edit is, you will learn very quickly as I use some of its tools. First, I added a brush command to a random item. In this case, the item was a brush. Ironic. The brush shape will be spherical and the blocks are going to be diamond blocks and air. Diamond blocks will make it easier for me to see what I'm doing, and the air in between will add to the randomness of the leaves. This is obviously way easier, and when I am done, I can change the diamond blocks to leaves just with commands. Quick FYI, to return this build to DexCraft, I will need to gather all of its materials, but I will explain all of that later. And just like that, it looks more like a tree. And now to add the blue rain part. I use a different leaf for that, so I will not use diamond blocks, but emerald blocks instead. And I changed my brush from spherical to splatter. And I will still keep using the air blocks in the mix, as it will make it look more natural, painting specifically the bottom of the leaves to really turn this tree into a wisteria. And when I was satisfied with the bottom part, I added one more detail by hand, which are the long streaks that truly identify a wisteria. And when you replace all the diamond and emerald blocks with the corresponding leaves, this is the result. Now to add the magical side of the tree, I am building an ice gem that lore-wise emits the cold weather over Glazeville City. I'm building it right in the middle of the stem, and the blocks that I use are ice, packed ice, light blue glass, and to light the gem up, I use the chiseled variant of sea lanterns. And just like that, that is the tree all done. Now for the gym, I wanted to take inspiration from Snowbell City in the Pokemon X and Y anime. That gym looks amazing, especially the way that it looks like an underground bunker of some sort. And although the gym is not underground in the anime, I will be making my gym right underneath the tree. I started with the size of the battlefield and surrounded it with a nice stone block. As the gym will be underground, I made a box out of the same stone block and tried fitting a Wailord inside to see if there would be enough battling room. And with that same splatter brush from before, I tried to make the inside of that box look a little bit more like a cave. I changed the walls to diamond blocks as well, and after I added some detail to those walls, I changed all the diamond blocks to a mix of stone, cobblestone, and andesite. Then trimmed the walls in the walking areas, and voila, on to the next step, which is adding that ice crystal from the tree to the gym, kind of in an uncontrolled way. As we know by now, these crystals give off cold weather and temperatures, so lore-wise this will explain the icy battlefield down here, and it will also light the place up quite a bit. And then I added some pillars because it looks cool. I also wanted a nice spot for spectators to watch the battles, so I made a balcony right here and then added a staircase to that balcony inside the wall. And just like that, the gym is done. A little problem I had though was I have been building with tick speed off, so I later found out with tick speed on that all the ice would melt, so in the gym and the tree I changed all of the ice to cyan glass instead. Alright, time to save the builds and put them on DexCraft. After loading the files and determining the positions, I gathered all the materials from that build in a chest right next to these cannons. And when I hit play, both the tree and the gym were being built on the server. Now that the builds are on the server, I also finished the entrance and added an elevator using the create mod to get down to the battlefield. Now, if you'll allow me to go off topic quickly, a lot of you have been asking me how to support this series, and well, I added a YouTube memberships to the channel with some small benefits like early access to videos, mentions in those videos, and some more. Completely optional, but it's a nice way to show your support if you want to. But I will say, hitting that subscribe button will be more than enough to make me happy. Now before I start on getting my gym team, let me tell you the battle rules for both gym leader and the challenger side. So far, the rules for leaders and challengers are the same, which are as followed. The format will be a 6v6 single battle, and as of now, there are no banned Pokemon. I do have a rule that as far as gimmicks go, you are only allowed to use one Mega Evolved Pokemon. No Z moves, no Dynamaxing, and no Terrestrialization. Using a Primal Pokemon will also count as a Mega Evolved Pokemon to balance it out a little bit, because I don't want to see a Primal Groudon and Mega Blaziken on the opposing team. On this server, we have custom gym badges to hand out to our victorious trainers, and this is the Ice Badge. Alright, for an ice gym, you obviously need 6 ice-type Pokemon. And right now, I am going to catch all 6 Pokemon that I have in mind for my gym team. After catching them, I will be going over each Pokemon and their build to explain exactly what role they are going to play in the gym battles. For the first Pokemon, if you paid attention to my party in the last couple of shots, you would have already seen it. We are going to rewind a little bit to when I was building the elevator. DT was around helping again and flexing all of his shinies that he has, and he had one of the Pokemon that I want in my gym team. And for context, a couple of days ago I bought a Lightstone from him for $40,000. If there are some shinies that I like, you know, like honestly, Glaceon is one of the few ones that I really love.
What about the purple ones, especially for a set legendary?
Depends which one. I really like Kyurem's one.
Yeah, well, that's the one I'm potentially offering to get for you. If I was to get that one for you, would you pay?
A shiny one?
Yeah.
I would pay you for a normal one.
But I have 2 walking around you. Do you just want that?
It's potentially one of these full IVs.
No, but they're close.
I did hear you say you had a full IV, or didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I have a full IV one. This
Are you
one.
willing to sell that one?
I'm not going to use it.
Alright, let's see. You already sold me the Reshiram, kinda, right? That one, the light ball stone. That was 40,000. Would you do 50k for a perfect IV, Kyurem?
Maybe 100k, because this was a hell of a one to get in the raid.
100k? Oh, let me think.
There's 100 IVs as well.
I'll do $80,000.
All right.
So that's the first Pokemon for the gym team, but he's not quite done yet. I need a Reshiram to turn Kyurem into White Kyurem. I do have the Lightstone that spawns Reshiram, so we'll get back to him later. Right now, there are 2 Pokemon that might take some time to find, but on the bright side, both of them spawn in the exact same biome. One of them is a rare, and the other one is ultra rare. Earlier, when DT sold me his Kyurem, he also wanted to help me out with the rest of my team and gave me Pokesnacks. These snacks can be placed down and will increase rare spawns and even shiny odds. The more you place down, the more frequent it will generate to spawn. And as I was sitting in my waiting chair, the first Pokemon already showed up. Huh, I did hear about this. Like today. I'm not even joking. Actually, Ash told me about this, maybe. Oh well. Cool. But anyway. Oh, full picks! Where? Okay. What level? 26. Quick ball. Go. Come on, just stay in. Wait, that means it's a catch. No, it doesn't mean anything, apparently. Yes! So my second Pokemon will be a Alolan Ninetales. I will tell you exactly why after I catch the rest, but right now I am looking for that second Pokemon in this biome with an ultra rare spawn rate. And you'd think it will take much longer to find than Vulpix. I mean, its spawn rate is literally 0.01%. But it only took around 45 minutes until this message showed up. Better already. Let's quickly take these away. Right, Solgaleo is very much out of the mix now. Actually, let me quickly... There. Let's check IVs. Wait! What? Oh! No, wait! Oh, dude! It spawned! No way! I'm gonna use a Master Ball. I'm not screwing around. I'm not screwing around. Let's go! Yes! And just like Kyurem, I need a second Pokemon to complete Calyrex, which is Glacier, which luckily I already have. And then when you merge the two together using the Reigns of Unity, it will add Calyrex Ice Rider to the gym team. And for the next Pokemon, I already have the item that spawns it, I just have to go to the end dimension to do so. Arriving in the end, I will right click with the Azure Flute to spawn God himself. And when I use one of my Master Balls, that is Arceus added to the gym team. And I will obviously use an Icicle Plate later to turn Arceus into an Ice type. And to complete Kyurem, I went to a savanna biome and used the light stone that I also bought from Lee. This spawns Reshiram, which I also caught with the Master Ball. And then at home, I used the DNA splicer to merge Kyurem and Reshiram, which creates white Kyurem to add to the team. And then I actually used one of the rarest items I own, which is a shiny card, to turn Kyurem into its shiny form. So yeah, that's shiny white Kyurem added to the team. Also, earlier in the video, I obtained this outfit because I think it's fun to use in Glazeville City. I mean, it's a cold city after all. And the last two Pokemon are actually two Pokemon that I already have, and let me tell you how I got them. I got Galarian Darmanitan from a raid about a week ago. Galarian Darmanitan might just be the strongest attacker of the team, and I'll tell you exactly why after showing my last Pokemon, which is Mamoswine. After using my shiny farm for a while, I got a shiny Swinub after hatching only 165 of them, which I then evolved into Mamoswine. Now that is all the Pokemon for my gym team caught, now let's make them ready for battle. Right now, I am going to explain what every Pokemon's purpose is, along with the moves, abilities, and items that I'm going to give them, and I will also train all the EVs and IVs to the maximum. Hi! Here on DexCraft, we have a secret. Hosting a Cobblemon server for 30 people isn't easy, especially when all these people are living on different continents. So our secret? We partnered up with Viper Hosting, and they provided us with a server capable of housing all these players without any lag whatsoever. Viper Hosting uses the latest gen hardware and network technology to guarantee uninterrupted connectivity while catching your favorite Pokemon or building the nicest towns together with your friends. And it doesn't matter if you're playing with 2, 10, 30, or even 100 people, Viper Hosting will have the perfect server ready for your budget and needs so you can start today. And if you click the link in the description and use the code that is on the screen right now, you can save yourself a nice bit of discount on that server. Thank you Viper Hosting for sponsoring this server, and thank you for supporting the companies that support DexCraft. Now back to the video. Let's start with Ninetales. In between recording sessions, I actually shiny hunted my Vulpix, so the Ninetales that I will be using in my team will be a shiny one, because why not? Its ability Snow Warning will start a Hailstorm upon entry, which will last for 5 turns. During a Hailstorm, any non-Ice type Pokemon will take a little bit of damage at the end of each turn. On top of that, Ice type Pokemon have a defensive boost when the Hailstorm is active, so the team will be able to take attacks a little bit better. For its moves, I started with Aurora Veil, which can only be used during a Hailstorm, and halves the damage for any attack or special attack for 5 turns. But the item Ninetales is holding is a Light Clay, which will make it last for 8 turns instead. Encore and Disable will help me set that protective barrier up. Encore forces the target to use the previously selected move for 3 turns, and Disable will prevent the use of the previously selected move for 1 to 8 turns. And when you use them together, the target will not be able to use an attack for a max of 3 turns. Moonblast is there to have a stab move ready for when I need it. Stab stands for same type attack bonus and means that if the move has the same type as the Pokemon using it, it will have 50% more power. Second up is Kyurem. White Kyurem has an insane special attack stat, so it's only natural that its moves I chose consist of special attacks only. No status moves. Draco Meteor, which is its strongest, but after the attack is used, Kyurem's special attack stat will drop by 50%. Blizzard, which only has 70% accuracy, however, during a Hailstorm, Blizzard is a guaranteed hit. Then Freeze Dry, which is an Ice type move, but unlike other Ice type moves, Freeze Dry is super effective against Water type Pokemon. And Fusion Flare is just a move with no important side effects for a little bit of insurance. The item Kyurem will be holding are Choice Specs, which will boost the special attack stat with 50%, but can only use the first move it executes until it swaps out. Now Calyrex is the real horsepower here, pun intended. With its ability boosting its attack every time it knocks an opponent out, it will make it especially dangerous after hitting a finishing blow. To keep Calyrex alive for as long as I can, I gave him the item Leftovers, which will heal a little bit of its health at the end of each turn, which will go hand in hand with one of its moves, which is Leech Seed, which will steal a little bit of the target's HP at the end of each turn. That passive healing will be necessary as its speed stat is rather low. But the move Trick Room should counter that, as it will make the slowest Pokemon move first for 5 turns. All of that together with Glacial Lance and high horsepower will make this Pokemon hit as hard as a tank. High horsepower will be especially useful as it's a ground type move, which is super effective against most of our counters. Now for Arceus, I had to be creative. To make Arceus eligible for the Ice type gym, I had to give it the Icicle Plate to make Arceus an Ice type. This does mean we lose the item slot for something useful, but I think we might be okay with its moveset. I can use Calm Mind to raise its special attack and special defense, and Recover to hopefully stay in the fight a little bit longer. Together with Judgment for stab and Earth Power as its ground type move, it should still be really strong. Now if you thought Calyrex had insane power, wait till you hear that Galarian Darmanitan don't even have to knock out an opponent to gain access to that power. With its ability Guerrilla Tactics, its attack stat is always boosted by 50%, but it can only use the first move it executes until it swaps out. This ability shares a striking resemblance to the item called a Choice Band, which does the exact same thing. And the effects stack, so when you give Galarian Darmanitan a Choice Band, its attack stat is now always at 200%, and nothing really changes. With full IVs and full EV set to attack and an adamant nature, this Pokemon's attack stat will be boosted to 832. Whoa! Darmanitan needs some good moves to sweep its opponents, and because of the double choice band, its moveset is pretty straightforward. Earthquake as its ground type move, Stone Edge for increased critical hits, U-turn which will swap the user out after attacking, and Icicle Crash because it's the strongest stab move Darmanitan can learn. This team is still very weak to fire types of course, but Mamoswine should be able to deal with those the best. With its ability Thick Fat, it removes its fire type weakness, making Mamoswine a little more defensive than the rest of its teammates. With its item being an Assault Vest, Mamoswine's defense itself will be boosted by 50%, but it will only be able to use damaging moves. And it's again because of the item that a Pokemon is holding that the moveset will be relatively simple. Earthquake and Icicle Crash for the same reason they are on Darmanitan, Ice Shard because it usually goes first, and Knock Off to remove the opponent's held item. Now I am explaining this build as if I fully came up with it myself, but this team was mostly sponsored by Mr. Capman, which some of you might remember from the ZA challenge video. So yeah, thanks for helping me out, Cat. And now it is time for the first challenger of the Glaceville City Gym. My gym has been challenged. Challenger, please come forth. Who is challenging my gym?
I challenge you to a Pokemon battle.
Ah, gosh dang, it's you.
Well, hello there, Spoon.
Oh no. Sam, what do you think of my gym?
I absolutely love it.
Thank you, thank you. All right, now to get into my gym clothes.
Oh, click. Turn around.
Click, 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 click. You have challenged the Ice-type gym leader. Are you ready for a battle?
I am ready for a battle.
Now, before we start this battle, I have to quickly explain something. DT was unaware of all the rules, and so he thought this gym was a 6v6 double battle instead of a singles battle. And he thought he was only allowed one legendary in his team, which is also not the case. But I only ever set the rules on my live streams and not quite to him specifically, and I don't have any gym rules hanging around anywhere in my gym. So to make this battle as fair as I could, I decided to take him on a 6v6 double battle for just this once. My team is not made for double battles, and he has only one legendary in his team, so I think this evens it out a bit. So yeah, now that that's clear, let's battle. This is a 6v6 double battle between Spoon the gym leader and DT the challenger. Let the battle begin. I started the battle off with Ninetales and Kyurem, and DT chose Swampert and Primal Groudon. I will say, Primal Groudon is one of the Pokemon that I was most worried about when making my team, so let's hope I can fend him off as quickly as possible. Ninetales started with Aurora Veil, but Groudon prevented me from setting up a Hailstorm with its ability Desolate Land, which means Aurora Veil fails as it can only be used during a Hailstorm. And Kyurem tried to use Draco Meteor, but that failed as well. Groudon then boosted its attack and defense with Bulk Up, and Swampert used Muddy Water, which also failed. Groudon's move is the only one that didn't fail this round. For some reason, I did not learn from round 1, and I tried to use Aurora Veil again, which will keep failing as long as Groudon is alive. But Kyurem's Draco Meteor completely demolished Groudon, finishing him in one single blow, which I really did not expect. Swampert then used Earthquake, damaging both my Pokemon quite a bit. DT then replaced Groudon's spot with a Microwave, aka Rotom. Draco Meteor lowers Kyurem's special attack by a lot, so I swapped it out for Arceus as Ninetales used Disable on Swampert, which means he cannot use that Earthquake from last round anymore. And Rotom then confused Arceus with Confuse Ray. In round 4, DT swapped out Swampert for Mamoswine, and Arceus boosted its special attack and special defense with Calm Mind, despite being confused. I wanted Ninetales to use Encore to force Swampert to use its disabled move, but it swapped out, so Encore failed. And Rotom used Discharge, which hits everyone on the battlefield, including teammates, but Mamoswine is immune, as it's a ground type, so it only hits my Pokemon and paralyzed Arceus. I then swapped out Ninetales for Darmanitan, and Mamoswine used Earthquake, which also hits everyone, including teammates, but Rotom is immune because of his ability Levitate. I will say, Mamoswine and Rotom make a pretty good team in doubles. Rotom then used Overheat on Arceus, which just barely survived, giving Arceus a chance to use Judgment on Mamoswine, dealing quite a bit of damage. As Arceus was way too low, I swapped it out for Calyrex as Darmanitan decided to miss his Icicle Crash, which was meant for Rotom. And Mamoswine used Earthquake, which ended up taking out Darmanitan. DT predicted that I was going to swap out Arceus, so he made Rotom use Confuse Ray on Calyrex. For Darmanitan's place, I chose Ninetales to set up a Hailstorm for some extra defense. I let Ninetales use Aurora Veil to set up maximum protection for the team. Mamoswine then took Ninetales out with Earthquake, which barely even tickled Calyrex, by the way, and Rotom's Discharge did the same. And Calyrex didn't attack this round because of its confusion. Kyurem then took Ninetales' place. In round 8, Kyurem used Draco Meteor, which absolutely demolished Rotom, as Mamoswine used Earthquake, but as my team is still under protection, it didn't do as much as it should have. And Calyrex used Glacial Lance, which I thought would do more damage. DT then let Runerigus take Rotom's place. I then swapped out Kyurem for Arceus, which got knocked out right away by Mamoswine's Earthquake. Runerigus tried doing some damage with Buddy Press, but it didn't do that much. Calyrex used Glacial Lance again, and you can't quite see it, but Runerigus barely survived that one. And now that Kyurem's special attack stat has been reset, it's time to throw him back in. Kyurem then took out Mamoswine with Draco Meteor, as Runerigus did quite some damage to Kyurem with Body Press. And Calyrex then landed the finishing blow on Runerigus, which if you remember from the explanation, boosts Calyrex's attack stat. With both Pokemon knocked out on DT's side, he then threw out 2 new Pokemon, which were Camerupt and Swampert. Kyurem got Swampert very low with Draco Meteor, as Swampert used Hammer Arm, leaving Kyurem on 1 HP. Calyrex got hit by Yawn from Camerupt, and right after, Calyrex used Glacial Lance to take out Swampert and leave Camerupt on 5% of its HP, which is DT's last Pokemon. Kyurem can only use Draco Meteor at the moment because of its choice specs, but it didn't have any PP left, so I was forced to swap Kyurem out for Mamoswine. Camerupt then used Dig, so it is now underground, which made Calyrex miss its attack, and right after, it fell asleep. When a Pokemon is underground after using Dig, it will attack the next turn, but while it is underground, the move Earthquake will do twice as much damage when performed. Earthquake is also the only move that can hit a Pokemon while it is underground, and that is exactly what Mamoswine did, taking out Camerupt and winning the battle from the first challenger of the Glaceville City Gym. Now please go subscribe to DT's channel, which you can find via the link in the description. DT, thank you so much for the battle. Better luck next time. Glaceville City is ready for challengers, and I will take them all on live during the streams right here on the channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.